and Animo in the middle. It's Dubai hitting the lead from Animo. They beat off Unicorn Line, but Dubai is drawing clear, and William Haggis has done it again. Dubai by 3 lengths to Animo.
Welcome to Bet Doctor Behind the Curtain. Look at how pro punters operate. I'm back. I'm Scoot. I'm your host, and I've got Grumple Stiltskin. I've got John Walter with me in the Gold Coast office. How have you bounced through the long commute from Augusta?
I don't think you're back for one.
What do you mean?
You're back. You're not back. You're gone.
I'm mentally here. I'm ready to go.
Gone.
Ready to bet.
You're here in presence, but I think you're gone.
Tell you what, I've learned a lot about Walt over the last week or so, flooding and rooming, but the most disturbing thing that I've ever seen in my life, and I think he's a lot closer to the old mug punter when it comes to his, culinary etiquette and his diet, but it was gobsmacking to see him have a ham sandwich, and he's put a chocolate chip cookie in it after a game of golf over in Augusta. So, don't know. I think
they didn't have any butter.
What?
They didn't have any butter.
So choc chip cookie goes into the sandwich.
We had to lube it up somehow.
Tell you what, I started to dry reach.
It was pretty good.
When in Rome. They eat shit over there anyway all the time. He's just joining in. When in Rome, tune in and eat the crap.
The last few days I was like, broccoli, add thing. And I was just like, oh my God, I just need to get some food, real food. Last night, I'm like, anything that's real, just feed me real food.
Anyway, warm welcome to our Melbourne studio, but DK, it's ludicrous behaviour.
Well, what have you done to him, Scoot? Have a look at him, Nico.
He doesn't.
Have a look at Walt.
He doesn't look fresh.
He's a non-drinker, and he looks like he's been at the ball.
Mate.
Looked like Friday coming home from the ball. Like after 4 days on the drink all out every night, and he's a non-drinker, and have a look at him. He looks gassed.
I popped my rib out in the hand lining up for an hour at something, carrying this 40-kilo carry-on I had, and then I had to go first up into bowling last night, and I'm trying to be tired, so... Mate, if the bowling ball, which is like 7 kilos, didn't weigh 35 kilos by the third game, I was struggling to step up onto the goddamn, the 4-inch step. I was cactus. And anyway, we'll freshen up all right. We'll be all right.
Jeez, he needs to get hit with the jigger, I would have thought, or he needs something. Nico,
I do.
How are you going, mate? Hopefully you're travelling better than what? You'd be fresh. No Ballarat. How good's that? Little abandonment midweek. Keep you fresh.
Yeah, the result, to be honest. I'm happy not to go to Ballarat, to be honest, DK. You know how much I sort of despise it. But we actually found a few winners there the other day. But that was a mad rail day. You just had to find the leader. But, yeah, a bit of rain around Victoria seems to be the theme at the moment. Heavy tracks probably for the next, I don't know. I think here on in, to be honest. Doesn't seem like it's going to get any drier, does it?
It's amazing how we get watching the weather last night. I don't take no interest. They've got having that cyclone off Port Hedland or whatever's about to hit. But the remnants of it all comes down and joins up, and we get all the rain from it. Even though it's Port Hedland, ends up Victoria over the next week. So yeah, it's going to be a bit wet, a bit tricky.
Tell you what, DK, you're the new Group 1 king. Dubai Honour declares it. Animo's dead.
Well, I used the M word in the group chat, didn't I? I didn't use it on the show, but I did use it in the group chat. It was nice to be proven right. But look, it's not as though I've said anything different all along. I said, Animo is a pretty good horse. Good, consistent Group 1 weight for age horse, beating up probably a weak era of horses in that age here, and he's come up against a good one. And but he did. I mean, he did go. He went. Which he did too. Start before Dubai Honour. People thought he might regress. He might have regressed a little bit because of the slow tempo, but he's gone super. So
I thought Haggis's commentary after the race was interesting. Like he was kind of saying that like Dubai Honour's completely in the zone. Like don't sort of look at his form from last race, you didn't have him right kind of thing, like treat him like he's at his best. And he was kind of saying that, we shouldn't be sort of beating up Animo too much considering he got well beaten because Dubai Honour's completely in the zone.
He went like a rocket. He went to start before, better than Animo's ever gone, right? So, I mean, all he had to do was hold him. Trav that thought he might regress. I thought, off the slow pace and everything, I thought he's a coiled spring, ready to go again, which he did. But the thing is, as I said, Animo's plateaued, and now they want to take him to the UK. Now, if he wants to take on the upper echelon over there, he's got to improve, which I don't think he's got that improvement in him.
Well, I think they're going to go back in distance. I think they're going to go back to a mile.
Are they?
I think the mile, I think it's the Queen Anne, is it? Or one of those races at Ascot, and they said the figure that he put up in the Chippy Nortons, I'm assuming he's on the GTX data, the figure he put up there would have won 4 of the last 7 of the race they're going to target. So that's their sort of thought process there this morning.
Okay, well, it sounds...
If you're taking Animo to England, it should be to go to Wimbledon or something, not to a racetrack. Jeepers creepers.
I could see him just bubbling away there. Nico, you nearly got the lot last week. Frankie Pino at odds, and then so dazzling for Sarge at ran second. So definitely finding the horses at value. It's been a funny week in the news. We've been watching it, I guess, from afar or airport lounges at least. The Quokka barrier draw is a beauty. I'm not sure if it was a marking strategy, but they've made a mozza of that. And Massimo, they've forgot to enter or they've duplicated Uncommon James. So they've stuffed the barrier draw up and it was an illegitimate barrier draw. So why didn't they just redraw the lot? They've just opened a can of worms here and started a couple of horses through. Madness.
Yeah, it's pretty simple, surely. Like, you can't have half and half, so you just redraw. Like, I don't know. And it can't be dead yet, can it? Like, Christ, I think with the favourites drawn 14, they're going berserk. You could nearly take them to court between now and then. If it was in New South Wales, they'd be all over it. So, I think it might be the end of the old plucker duck system. Maybe it'll all be automated from now on.
All automated, yeah. But as you said, I caught that little bit with the marketing strategy, Scoot. The word quokka would never have been heard or seen or used so many times in the last 48 hours. So even if you don't know about it, you know about the barrier draw stuff up. So, having a bit of awareness, even if it wasn't in the right vein.
There's another beauty that's popped up on RaceNet yesterday. And I think the horse's End Assembly won a listed race in Brisbane in December. And it was the cocaine horse. So this is from the Mark Curry yard here. And it's a story about a random punter that claims that he's had 2 bags of cocaine at the Eagle Farm races. He's managed to...
he doesn't know Curry? Doesn't know any of the owners?
Oh, I think he knows some of the owners, and he tipped the horse to his dad and his uncle, and he's had a bit of a bet on it. But I'll tell you what, he's bet up himself on the day. He claims to have bought 2 bags of cocaine in the toilets at the races, so he's dropped 700, and then he's had 10 to 15 drinks, vodka and whatnot. And then he's just somehow got past the coats at security, and he's gone in and patted the horse after it's won the race. So none of this checks out on the CCTV at Eagle Farm, and I don't know where to start or finish, but this is one of the most mind-blowing stories that I've seen in racing in quite some time. And friends of mine say that if you'd had 2 bags of coke, you'd be doing really well to sort of get past the security. And
apparently you
just probably fly straight over the fence. It's remarkable that you could have 2 bags of coke and 15 or 10 drinks and be able to talk your way through the security.
Well, didn't they question him and they said, "Oh, are you sure?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm reasonably certain," or something. So he was in a good state. He was fine.
Have you heard anything like this before in your life, DK?
Extraordinary. When you said that through this morning, and I was just reading it, and I thought, when they've already been found guilty, they're deliberating on penalty. All of a sudden, old mate's put his hand up and said, "Come in with this." He was there. Obviously, he was there somewhere because he was, which anyway, I don't know what to make of it, but I know it was geez.
Plenty going on. How can they charge Ben Curry if he's just a stable hand? How can he get charged? Unless they've said that he's, they've got evidence that he gave the horse something. Why is it not just his father that's getting charged? But it's the whole thing's so strange, isn't it? And their obsession with Curry, and things happen with Curry. I'm not saying it's anything, like whatever. It's their job to police the industry, but everything that involves Ben seems strange. It doesn't seem straightforward. So it's just another chapter.
That's yeah. I don't know where this ends, but to go and declare and put yourself out there with a stat deck saying that you've done this behaviour is.
So is there any legal? Like, is he in trouble for,
No,
I don't know. It's just, it is what it is.
I don't think so. It's
No, recreational
drugs. And,
yeah.
You can't get pinged for that?
No,
For putting your hand up and saying, "I bought this in the toilets." They can't just... No, I wouldn't have thought. Because Currick's police, right? Here.
He could be banned. He could be banned for life off the track, because I don't think you're allowed to have drugs at the races. So,
fair enough.
Yeah, geez, it's an as big a problem for Eagle Farm if they're letting cocaine.
You've got someone who'll set up a stall in the toilets there. Yeah. Happy days.
So yeah, it's a very bizarre one, the whole thing. But it's worth a look on RaceNet, and you'll definitely get a giggle if you're having a slow day in the office today or tomorrow. Make sure you read the story, and I'm sure it'll be around the traps. But fascinating to see how that one unfolds. The Comics Lounge in Melbourne, it's a comedy festival down in Melbourne, so make sure you head to Errol Street and visit the Comics Lounge, a sponsor of ours. Today's show is going to be a beauty. Donnie via video. He's got a bit of a sniffle, poor old Donnie. Found Chinny Boom, the boom horse, last week, which was short and sweet, and then Applications was his other tip. It ran third, so I think he's going to open the batting with Eagle Farm Race 1 this week. Walt's pretty horned up about the all age. He thinks the Champagne Stakes is one of the strongest additions he's seen for quite some time.
Oh, I got asked to do it, didn't I? And I was like, it's a dead set. Like, not even, there's maiden form in there it's just, oh my God. Like, it's always a bit of a funny race, the Champagne, but they should have just scratched it off the card, put on another midway.
Isn't everyone wrapped at home? They thought, oh, Walt will come back up and about from the Masters, and you've sort of got grumpier and more angry and more negative.
I'm all right. I'm just tired. But even, like, you tell me a horse that's in that race that, like, you've already got militarised probably going to end up at stud. It's a camel. And now they've got 5 other camels in there, China Horse Club trying to qualify another camel to stand for 25,000 or something. It's Camel Fest. We're just breeding camels from camels.
I didn't really think of that angle with China Horse Club. Well, if they've got multiple runners. Well,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So militarised would be, yeah, you think they'd...
Could be dead as a doornail.
Yeah, if something's coming after you and it's got the right colours, just do the star jump off or something, yeah.
Handbrake, that's an angle. Nico's going to have a look at the Vobis Showdown Day at Sandown. I'm going to have a look at the Quokka. I'm pretty happy to bet now that Bellatina's sub $4. I think that's crazy price, or I could be still jet lagged. TopSport Steamers, we've got 3 bets, and I think they're all pretty great, good lays. So I think Tristan's caught them pretty well. Speaking of TopSport and Tristan, make sure you check out their app and mobile site. It's terrific, and they've got all the markets there. So it doesn't matter if you want to bet on Gather Round or NRL or AFL or any of the racing this weekend, make sure you check out TopSport. Or if you're like me, you're on the bounce and you want to keep betting on the golf, all of a sudden got bitten by the bug, there's another way to turn your money over. So make sure you head to topsport.com.au and download their app from the App Store. Make sure you get the newest version because it is Mickey Mouse. First one we're going to have a look at is Sandown with you, Nico, and there's 3 to 15 mil forecast on Saturday, as you sort of alluded to there. So it'd be interesting to see what the track conditions come up with. But Sandown race 4, let's have a look at the market, courtesy TopSport. Northern Barrage is a favourite here, $2.30. Midnight Glow $4.60. Kentucky Nick $6.50. Night Sun $7.50. Roaring Engine $10. Bengal Boy $12. Highland Hill $15 and 40s for Canetti and foretelling. But the replay we're going to have a look at here is Northern Barrage in the pink with the black spots back in the ruck.
Yeah, and like the black caviar colours, really. Northern Barrage, this is a key lead up. This is the St Ledger trial at Bendigo. And he's just sort of gone past a few of his main rivals here on the fences, Kentucky Nick, Roaring Engine, and Night Sun, and he runs straight past all of them. This was over 2,200 metres. Now they get to 2,400. I would have thought with the way he hit the line here, he's probably going to be the strongest late at the end of 2,400. This has been Mick Kent's race for a while. He's won it with Royal Crown, who I think he owned at the time when he sort of didn't train, and then Charlevoix won this race. So he always kind of sets a horse up for a race like this. And I think this horse probably would have been some sort of an each way sort of player at long odds in like an ATC Derby. He's probably right in the SA Derby. So I think this looks like a good launching point for him. And he races pretty much the same field as he raced the other day. There's a few horses here that are bringing in a different form line. I thought sort of $2.30 was very respectable for him, given the fact that how well he beat most of those horses. Mick D seems to be riding Sandown very well at this extended trip over 2,400. So, yeah, I thought 230 was pretty generous at the moment. I thought the only danger was probably Bengal Boy. DK, probably something.
I was the only horse I was going to mention him, Nico, if you didn't. But, go on.
Out
of the fast run race at Pakenham, hit the line strongly there, gets Billy, who's a bit of a go-to rider at the moment. He's come back in very good form, Billy Egan.
I think that's one of the reasons it improved last start. He went on. Yeah. And I think Alana was off and he was on and onto the bigger track.
Yeah, we actually backed this horse for the syndicate at Kyneton, and Alana didn't sort of give it any chance. So
it was buried back on the inside, But no, he's trending towards an SA Derby as well. But every run's been full of merit, and that was like more or less. I think I tipped it a Moral on air, even though it was Moral's prize that race. So I thought she had panels on them, and then those other two went and ran really well to get reasonably close to with a huge gap to fourth. So I think he's trending the right way. He's got a good chance.
And you could sort of argue that Moya Lass form line could be a little bit stronger than the Derby trial too. So Yeah, I definitely think he's.
Yeah, that's Gringotts and all that form. But she was behind Gringotts and then out of the Metro race, wasn't she?
Oh yeah, I'd have him clear second pick. So he's probably my best result at $12 for sure. And I think I'll back Northern Barrage as well. Night Sun's probably the other horse out of that lead up. It was in the pink, getting back towards the inside, gets Newitt. Real stayer. He might be the other horse that's a bit in play. But if it wasn't a real wet track, I'd probably be betting right up in this race with Northern Barrage and Bengal Boy. Just probably going to be a little bit more reserved given the conditions. And these are young 3-year-olds who haven't had that much exposure to it. But Bengal Boy looks well. The odds at $12 and Northern Barrage looks your most likely winner.
What about Roaring Engine out of Arapaho Mist, little old man, bred to eat the rising trip, and he wasn't that far off him.
I think if you're going to take anything out of the lead up, it just has to be Northern Barrage, that Derby trial. So that was probably the way I went with that. I thought Night Sun was quicker than him home the last 200. So that's probably the case you can make for that horse and gets Newitt. So they were probably the only two I could take out of the St. Ledger trial. But he's bred to stay, that horse, yeah.
See, the winner, they sold the winner.
Have they?
Yeah, Neville Murdoch. They must have Bray or Aussie or I don't know who it is has come after it and says, do you want to sell it? And he said, oh, everything's for sale. So next thing, they bought it and it's at Kieran Mars. So, and it's got like that horse when it won its sale. Like it won its sale, it was going sideways, and it's still. I think I like seeing horses who race greenly. That's what Ma would have seen. So there's plenty more in the tank, What
about when I backed it earlier this prep at Pakenham at 90s when it flew home to run second?
Yeah, that was good. What about
against Northern Barrage?
Well, my last ever tip when I was tipping was it. And it was first up, and I said, oh, this horse goes all right. And I just got beaten 6 lengths. Well, now look at it. So anyway.
Promises kept? Is that the horse?
That's it. Promises kept, yeah. So to Kieran Mars, and I don't know. They didn't say who the owners were. I'm tipping it might be Bray or Aussie or someone's gone and bought it. So
find out at Footy Train this week or tonight, DK. That'll be the go. Race 7 at Sandown is the Thoroughbred Breeders Victoria Showdown, and She's All Shenanigans, $3.20 favourite here. Patchy Song, $5. Critique is $6.50. Butch Cassidy from the Gaybot team, $8.50. So it's back from Sydney. Picky, $8.50. Arizona Activist, $12. Magic Mogul, $17. Elphinstone at $17. And Better the Rest. And that's the horse that we're going to look at, or that Nico wants to concentrate on, is Elphinstone at odds here. And the favourite, She's All Shenanigans, for this race is out in front with a baldy face. And you're in the McAvoy colours here, Nico.
Yeah, Chestnut sort of working her way through the field. This was a day where it was a huge advantage to be up on top of the speed near the rail. This is a 1,000-metre race, and Elphinstone kind of missed the start and got a long way back, and then hits the line pretty well, second fastest last 200 metres of this race. I think the She's All Shenanigans win was very flattered by the way the race shape was run. They've run no time. She's got it all her own way out in front, gone slow, and then just kicked off the bend on a biased track. So she goes 1,000 up to 1,200 metres. It looks a very easy lay. I would have thought She's All Shenanigans. If I was a bookmaker, I'd be putting it in for the lot, to be honest, because I think there's a few horses here that'd be stronger than her at 1,200 metres late. And I thought this Elphinstone just had to be in the race off the relative SPs. Like, did start $5 last start against the favourite. Looks like a horse who will be better for that debut run. Got back and hit the line from 7, can probably posse up a bit closer here. I thought it was definitely a horse with a chance at, sort of $16, $17. I thought it was pretty good odds. I thought it was definitely overs. There's a few horses here that are definitely in the race. The Waterhouse Bot 2, you got to have a good look at. Critique will probably take on She's All Shenanigans, and I think he'll be stronger than her late. So he's definitely got to be in your calculations. He did kind of have the perfect run the other day at Ballarat, though. Was a day you wanted to be leading and on the fence, and he did that. So again, he was probably a bit flattered by that win. Butch Cassidy would definitely be the horse you'd have a really good look at if he didn't run so poorly last start in Sydney. It was on a wet track too. So, if you take that angle, he just didn't go on the wet. It could be, similar conditions there on Saturday. So that's probably the worry with him. And then I suppose Apache Song and maybe a horse like Arizona Activist, who wasn't far off Butch Cassidy on debut, are sort of in play. But yeah, the way I looked at the race, I thought Elphinstone's probably a bet at around $17, just something small there. I think she can really jump out of the ground here. And then maybe for exotics, Critique and Arizona Activists have probably got to go into. All
the 2-year-olds in there, and the 2-year-olds on the wet track, as Nico said, I think, again, he finds the right angle rather than want to charge into something tight in the market, find a bit of value. So all 2-year-olds all hitting a wet deck. Sandown, what's a shoot 1,000, isn't it? So 1,200.
Well, that's 12. So
12 around the bend, yeah. So
same as the Blue Diamond.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Same track as that.
Yeah. No. I'll be watching.
Don't mind your angle there with Elphinstone and Arizona Activists. I'll be steaming in right behind you there, Nico, and even just if you just want to lay one, I'd happily bet around the favourite there, and you could have the field to knock it over at TopSport. All right, if you want Nico's Mounting Yard Mail, 3 to 5 minutes pre-race. We record on a Thursday, but Nico's Mounting Yard Mail via Telegram is Saturday. So Nico will be out there. He'll have his raincoat on, and it's $25 a week. And so you get Saturday and Wednesday metros and some bonus night racing and any of the big features down in Victoria. So make sure you check that out if you're new to the show. It's trusted by some of Australia's biggest punters, I can guarantee, having seen the client list and my time back at Betfair. All right, puntingform.com.au is another proud sponsor of us. They're the best form guide in the business. They've had a reskin, and I've finally migrated to the new site. So I've got used to the bright colours and their new speed maps and stuff like that. So I'm using puntingform.com.au. And I really like their new worksheets and the new function that they're starting to drop. So makes the form very, very simple. Walt, are you awake? Are you with us?
Barely.
I got some choc chip cookies and some ham sandwiches, so I'm tipping you'll be right, mate, by the time you finish this segment. It's another wet one up in Sydney. Surprise, surprise. The forecast says 3 to 15 mil today on Thursday, and then Friday up to 5 mil. So we should expect maybe 50 to 100 mil between now and race time.
That's the problem, and you've already got trainers coming out. Like I've seen Joe Pride say he's not going to run private eye worse than a 6. So it's a nightmare trying to sort of digest it all too much at the moment. Hopefully it doesn't rain, but you'd expect sort of 6, 7, 8, I guess, at the moment is probably what you try and angle up for.
The favourite in the Champagne Stakes, race 7, is Militarised. It's been 260 and a 2.
Hang on, we're doing the Champagne Stakes.
Yeah, we're just going to have a look at it.
Jesus Christ, you
market
told me
only.
not to do it. That's all right, let's go.
No, I'm just going to try and keep you on your toes. I'm just going to do market only, and we'll talk about the race.
Can we
and then
put
we'll
what
look at the
they'd
replays
stand for at stud next to him as well? Can Borco just make that? Can you calculate that right now and throw it into the spreadsheet?
Well, 27,000 for Artorias. Are you going to talk about that?
What about that? 27,000 for a backmark and cat. Like, you get a free bloody 3 year of what do they go? Whiskers or something with every serve. You get a free.
Do you reckon that they should, all these ads that have just taken over all the gambling stuff online, and the racing.com telecast has gone to pieces, in my opinion, because of these, think of what you could really do. Do you reckon they could start doing it with horses at the sales?
Yeah, like that's it. Yeah, you get about 0.5% back, plus it costs you the next 5 years as well on top of whatever. Yeah.
What about the micro shares?
Exactly.
When you're buying, when they bought a horse for 300,000 and they're selling it for 1.3. Think of what you could really be doing with your money.
650,000 they spend for every city win they get or something like that. Yeah, it's awesome.
Might be time for the breeders to start kicking up for the punters, because things could start getting a bit dark soon.
Yeah, it's amazing how they're tackling that. That's probably a different subject altogether. Those what are they, tobacco-like warnings that they've decided to start throwing in all sorts of weird and wonderful places. Maybe they should definitely concentrate on maybe these corporates that prey on people who are self-excluded, things like that. They've sort of jumped the gun. I don't know what they're trying to do, protect their own arse as usual, but they're doing it in a strange way.
That's enough. That's our breeding segment for the week. We'll get back to the Champagne Stakes and Militariser's favourite, $2.40, Don Corleone, $3.60. Wow. Tom Kitten, $8.50, bases loaded, $12, peer pressure, $12, Townsend, $18, make a call, 19, Tan Horsa, 20, Felix Ascot, 31, Kintyre, 31, and 101, Mar Ali. Free bet time. If you got a free $50 bet, who are you going to back?
Yeah, okay. So we took the size as probably obviously the line that most people will take, and the time overall was okay, but it was a very fast run race that suited Militarised, had a perfect run, put them away. Don Corleone looked pretty bad there, like pretty average running second. That peer pressure's the horse that's got beat in 2 maidens, come out and got, well-spaced third there. It's only $12 in this Champagne Stakes, so it shows how bad the race is. You go looking for Tom Kitten, another race where they sort of went out 9 below. It's come from last. That looks good on paper, but they've not really come home quick. So he's done something, but not a lot. He's probably the starting point. Then you look at Gay's horse. I thought it went really well. He's called Townsend, sat outside the leader. They look like they went quick. They absolutely crawled. There's just holes in every horse's form, and when you're thinking that a horse like Kintyre or something that's a midweek battler at best could probably sit on speed and run a race here. It's a very poor open Group 1. I guess Militarised has to start favourite just because it ran away from him in a size, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Ambulance won this one.
Nico?
I know you were team militarised the other day, Scooty, and he's well found, but geez, I don't know if you could be backing him at 240 or whatever he is at the moment. He seems very short given just the way that race panned out for him. I don't think the key chances in the race handled the track, and he seemed like the only horse that did, and he kind of had the run of the race up on the fence. That was the place to be early. So I'd be I'm sort of tipping he regresses off that run, and I think if he does, there's probably not much between a lot of these horses sort of off what they've done so far in their career. I thought these horses on the back up out of the Fernhill looked a bit deadly. Tom Kitten came from the back, hit the line strongly, gets Nash. You think the backup would really suit him, and I think Townsend's got to be in the race, and I think if he goes faster, there could be every chance he could run a few of these into the ground on the backup. I think this looks like a bit of a set play to get him here third up, and he looked a horse who probably wasn't that suited by the slow tempo the other day, given he doesn't have that much of a turn of foot. So, I'll probably back both of them, to be honest, Tom Kitten and Townsend. I think this favourite's he's obviously got to be your favourite in the race, but there's no way I'd want to take $2.40 just off how easy he had it last start, and coming up to 1,600 with those other two on the quick backup. I think they just set up a bit better at better odds too. So Tom Kitten and Townsend for me.
I'd have a box exactly with a favourite, and I think you guys have found, well, they're the two roughies that I want to be in the box.
Bases loaded, and Townsend will probably control the race too. And I think it actually did go too quick the other day, bases loaded. So, and sort of half kicked away, got tired late. It can probably improve to sort of mid figure odds. I think I'm on this. I found the same too as Nico, and probably bases loaded just in case they control the race between them, gays.
I'm finished with bases loaded.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. Most of these horses are 6th and 7th run first prep and all sorts of weird things. There's nothing well set up. There's nothing, you normally get one or two that you go, we're waiting for this horse to get to a mile. None of those are in this race. It's just a weird race where it's all fallen away this year.
All right, all age stakes. Let's have a look at Giga Kick, $3.10 favourite here. Zaki, $5.50. This is a remarkable price. I'd just be absolutely laying the bejesus out of this horse. Can't believe it's $5.50. Marzu, $7. Jacano, $8. Private Eye, $8.50. Cascadian, $10. Lost and Running, $16. Ho-Oh Amazon, $19. Rockin' Horse, $21. Electric Girl looks pretty big odds here, $26. Bandersnatch, $61. And Colding still going around at $151. I guess the most obvious replay to have a look at is Giga Kick. Most of the other form is pretty exposed, except for the Japanese horse here. Giga Kick sort of looms up. Lost and Running's
coming through the white face, had a perfect running transit. Lost and Running sat sort of 6 and 7 wide the whole way, first up 1,200 and a heavy. I Wish I Win coming down the outside. It was hard to run on from back and wide here this day, so that was probably the only thing that Giga Kick had to sort of come against, but had the right run through. If I Wish I Win was in this race, it'd a dead set be 2s on, I would imagine. So I don't know why the heck they've spelled that horse. It seemed like an absolute gimme, but I just saw that they sort of announced it quite early. So maybe they're just, worried about the Everest and the Everest only now. Quite an irrelevant thing to worry about. But if Giga Kick runs 1,400, it does look like there's, speed. Well, there's horses drawn right across the park that want to be fairly close to the speed. So I'd imagine there's a 3 and 4 wide line because there's not a lot of actual tempo in the race. And I think that means that Giga Kick won't be too far away. It'll be sort of midfield, 3 and 4 wide with cover. Unfortunately, gets the wrinkle back on it. You saw what the bloody Mr. Brightside did without the wrinkle while he was cast. But if Zach Purton was on, I'd be keener. I don't think 1,400's a problem. Not easy to tackle 1,000 to 1,200 last start, and it did that on a heavy 9, and certainly didn't disgrace itself there at all. So just by default, I think it has to go very close. I'm with you with Zaki. I think the horse is just about cactus. He trialled okay. If he wins this race, it shows how bad the race is because there's not too many horses set up well to run 1,400. Lost and Running isn't. Private Eye obviously get beaten 16 lengths last start. They're not going to run it unless it's dry. If it comes out dry somehow, he can run well. Cascadian back from 2,000 is a really
head scratcher, isn't it?
Weird play. Marzu gets to 1,400 for the first time. He's had his chance there, like absolute PR. So he'd be surprised if he sort of turned the tables. I don't know what to do with this Japanese horse. He's been beaten out of sight, 5 of his last 6 or something. Colding's been gone for longer than me. Rockin' Horse wouldn't run 1,400 down a cliff. Electric Girl needs it dry, can run a race if it gets dry. And Jacano, is that form the right form? He's fairly well set up, but again, he probably wants it dry, doesn't he? I think Nico and that would know him better, but it just looks Giga Kick by default. If it's down the middle and it just looks, very, very well placed against a lot of horses that aren't well placed.
But it depends how wet it is. I think maybe soft 6 would probably pull up Jacquino.
Yeah, and ideal. Yeah, that'd be. It's a different race if this is a 4 or 5 to if it's a 7, 8, 9. I think that's the key to it, and it probably brings Cascadian in, to be honest. The heavier it gets, because he's the one horse is super honest, handles all ground, and he's going to be strong. Whereas most of these should be looking for somewhere to lie down the last 100.
Nico? Or DK. DK's a Group 1 king.
DK's the Group 1 man, so we'll go to him.
Yeah, I know. Oh, no, Giga Kick. I mean, just keep it simple, as I've done. Giga Kick. 1,400, Mark Reed's old pearl was, mate, can't pot him at a trip unless they've failed at it. So he's coming up to the trip. The way he was getting through the line there, I'd say no issue with the 1,400. As I said, the knock there, Walt picked it, was off a 1,000-metre race. It can leave you vulnerable, I tell you. But he was 1,200 heavy 9. He's still getting through the line. So and a lot of these horses are not so much in the wilderness. They're good horses, but not set up as nearly as well as he's third up into this. The Giga Kick, I thought he'd be very, very hard to beat.
Nico?
Yeah, I kind of thought, if you're playing that way, back to best horse kind of thing, you probably have to be with him. It's just 1,400 probably is away. I would have liked him to draw a softer gate to run like a strong 1,400, but he's a class horse. I think he's the best sprinter we have in Australia. So getting to 1,400 is probably a ticket. I think that's the interesting point for Zaki. Like, yes, he's won, a few tramways in that over 1,400, but that was against similar opposition where, they're horses that were looking for further like he was. Now he's going to race the sprinters over 1,400, Mizzou and Jacquino and Giga Kick, Private Eye there. They've been, they were running the Everest last year. Now he's going to take them on. The trial was okay. But yeah, 550 seems pretty short for him. Mizzou just can't win a race, and I don't know if 1,400 is what he's looking for. Jacquino, to my eye, looked completely under prep at his last run. He over-raced in the run. He didn't parade anywhere. Like that parade I saw in the CF4, I reckon is one of the best parades I've seen from a horse, just completely in the zone. And you could tell, like, he jumped out of the barriers. Like, that was his race that day. And then the start after, he got a bit warm in the yard. I don't know. I think it'd be a good training performance to get him back to win this race without having a break, because it just looked like he was a bit finished there. And then sort of where do you go to after that? Cascadian's fine, but he's back in trip. I don't know. If this Japanese horse is any good, this is a race that seems easy enough to pick up the sticks, doesn't it?
But are they? I mean, it looks like, to me, he's brought out a couple of, they're testing. Are they testing the waters here? What's he doing? Because, as I said, he's been beaten out of sight over there, but he thinks that's good enough to compete here. So, very interesting, the sort of horses he's brought out, that bloke.
I'll be half cheering for it. Just because if that thing with getting beaten in Group 3s at mile, you'd love it. What Nico said to Strollo, I wrote down too, like Icebath has good fresh form over 1,400, but beat Izaki does, but beat Icebath and Nimmerley last time, and then the time before that it beat bloody Arameo. So, yeah, it's not really Everest vintage form.
It's not 1,400 metre form, is it? That's like 1,600 metre form over 14, so... Yeah, maybe it is just keep it simple, DK. Just stick with Giga Kick, because the rest you'll just run around in circles, growing yourself up. So yeah, maybe do keep it simple there, punters.
I think it's really simple. I think Giga Kick's nearly a moral, and the only saviour you could have would be Lost and Running.
Oh God!
I think it's the only horse that can genuinely improve. Like he copped an awful track the other day. He's only got beaten by 6 first up, and then he just looks the best suited back up to 1,400, and looks like a possible target race for him. But he's still got to run down Giga Kick, and I'm not sure he can. I know he's a younger horse, but 56.5 kilos, I think that might be telling. Anyway, I think he's the real deal, Giga Kick, and I think DK's on the money. Don't knock him until he fails. Let's have a look at the last race, Walt. You've found one in the Catnax Jewelers Handicap here. The first in the market here is Democracy Manifest, $4.20, substantial $7. Hellfest $8, Malatai is $8.50, Blazer Trail $10, The Face $13. Well-named horse, that one. Kinlock, $13. The Poacher, $14. Southern Lad, $15. An Easy Single, $16. Nemeth, Mitch Beer's horse, $18. And Rocket Tiger, $19. And then you got 20s or better, the last two there. We're going to have a look at the trial first of Democracy Manifest. It's green. It's last on the fence.
So he just drops it out. Yeah, just typical Waller trial. They do come home pretty quick here. Horse in front, Gundy Bridge, pretty fast horse, given a sound. Is it Gundy Bridge? Is that this race trial? No, that's not that.
Well,
That's the
this is
Zaki
Little
trial, wrong
Trial.
one. But anyway, I don't know who led it. They did come home quick. And it's just sort of smokes back up the fence late. Very nice moving. 2 trials between. I love Waller, like 112 days, not a big break. I like him off shorter breaks, and I like it when he gives them 2 trials. Usually they run extremely well. I think this is definitely the horse to hold out. There does look really solid pressure as long as there's not too many scratchings. The face rarely goes, too slow, and then you've got a bit of help from some lower class horses that'll push forward from wide and at least keep the tempo rolling, which should play into the hands of Democracy Manifest. It's in the green, just poking its head up the fence there under a big grip. So it did make ground in a fast couple of sections.
This also is the Poacher.
So, yeah, okay, there's 2 horses in this. This Kinlock's in this as well, I think. So this is, Poacher's sort of back there. The inside was no good here at all. 1400 was the first time he'd seen it. I don't think he really ran it out. So the horse is Lock Eagle coming down the outside. I think Spangler's the grey who came out and won the final by about 5. And he's just in the wrong spot here. The Poacher completely. He drops back to 1,200 metres Saturday, which I think is a big positive. The weather watch is very important with this horse, though. He's certainly a much better horse on top of the ground, and being drawn gate 1, if somehow we end up on a sort of 5, 6 at worst, and the fence is pretty good, which is, 7 metre rail, as long as it's not too wet, it could well be the right place to be. I think $14 is big odds. The horse that has been racing this horse, Kinlock, gets the blinkers. They've got a similar setup. I think it's big odds as well. And Democracy Manifest is certainly the horse to hold out. But if playing by ear, it's not one I'd chime into early, even though it looks like it's big odds. It is certainly the Poacher here. The other horse at the top, which I'm going to just have one more dig at, Ryan Maloney's ride on Mautai. The horse is flying. It's the worst ride I've ever seen in my life. I've declared it. I've put it at the top of the list. Worst ride I've ever seen last start. Going 10 below, and he's trying to drag it off the heels of the leader to try and find cover with 400 metres to go. It's going okay, but drawn horrifically, and I don't think it'll get the run it needs. It's just going through it. There's not too many horses here that are, again, well set up, which is the aim of the day on Saturday for me. And the Poacher is 14 back to 12 is perfect. It is for Kinlock as well, and Democracy Manifest will be flooding home. But I think it's just that sort of horse that needs a bit of luck and blah, blah. It's a horse I'd rather save on than make the result. I'd rather be making the Poacher a good result and saving on Democracy Manifest.
No arguments here, but yeah, it looks like it's absolutely airborne. I think the only big danger with Democracy Manifest if Waller's got a different plan or a second up target for a horse like that. Otherwise, it looks like the horse to beat. Any thoughts with you guys, Ed and Melbourne?
Oh, no, it just makes me smile every time I hear that Democracy Manifest. Democracy Manifest, Nico?
Yep.
Succulent Chinese meal.
Yep.
Very funny. Very cat popped up again the other day. So, and I think Darren Flindell gives it a nice rev when it wins, doesn't it, in reference to that video? So
He loves it.
He's always got a one-liner well and truly prepared for this horse. Yeah.
That's probably the problem with Democracy Manifest, isn't it? Is it he doesn't sort of win all that often. He's always sort of thereabouts.
I don't think he runs he stretched him out last time, and I know he sort of ran his best figure over 1400, but I think he had things to suit there. I think he's a pretty good 1200 metre horse. I'd actually like to see him go down the straight. I think he's a pretty talented horse. But his pattern's certainly a bit of a nightmare, that's for sure. But I think sort of kept to lower, like 1200 max, fast tempos, Randwick, I think he's a pretty good horse.
What about Joe Moreira? We haven't really spoken about Joe's success or his Sydney journey, because you've been sort of away the last couple of video sort of previews, but how have you found Moreira settling into Sydney?
He's definitely looks like he's freshened up, doesn't he? I think when he's sort of lobbed here in and out a few times, he's been found wanting a bit when he's sort of been flown in for a meeting or a ride, but settling in, he seems to be a much better prospect this time. He's getting better opportunities. Waller's putting him on a few of the right horses. He's winning on 15-1 chances too, which is always a good sign. I think it shot. Like you've got Marquand, him, Purton. They've all come in and sort of horses have gone better than expectations. So they show their class. They're definitely quality riders. And it's good to see him back, because I honestly thought he'd been cast. I don't know if I haven't looked into it, whether he's been riding since he left Hong Kong or not. But if he hasn't, he's certainly come back with a bit of a vengeance.
He's Brazilian, isn't he, Moreira? I think he went back to Brazil and rode for a bit. And then he's come here, so he's had a bit of a grounding, and then come here. Like, sick for us because we were on at 30s. But that ride on So Dazzling, like, I don't think it even runs second with other jockeys on it. Like, he just gave it a 20 out of 10. It was just beaten by a better horse. You look at that, like Chris Daly threw over the line at long odds, sort of just giving him great rides. And yeah, I think it's a jockey you really want to find sort of on those horses, especially on these wet tracks too, like on those horses that just need to be balanced and everything like that. Like, he's a freak at that, and he seems like he's a bit in the zone too. Looking at his career stats on punting form, his average win strike rate for his career over 6,000 rides is 21%.
It's insane.
He throws nearly half of them into a place, 48% a place. So he is a freak.
And that's in that ugly racing too, like Hong Kong. It's very ugly. They go very quick. It's a couple of tight track, or one tight track there. And to be able to have that sort of record, even when he was getting the pick of the rides.
Well, that's right. The pick of the
crazy.
ride shows it, doesn't it? He was right. He could ride what he wanted when he was flying over there, couldn't he?
He could. And then Zach sort of evened it up a little bit, but still. No, I've always carried. The problem is when he was there, you weren't getting the value, were you? You were getting to get to the J-Mac tax sort of thing, and now he's a little bit of a forgotten entity. Like you try and, I'm not going to bag Willie Pike, but put them two together. I know who I like. Zhao's got.
He looks so good.
100. He does. And you sort of, he's a bit forgotten at the moment. So the market's not finding him. They will soon enough.
Yeah, I just love the way he keeps balance and he can change legs. And he's just got all the tricks. He's just a natural horseman. I just love to watch him.
And this sort of horse is a horse that you think
him.
he would be able to probably put a length or two on compared to most riders.
All right, that's our Sydney preview. But if you want more of Sydney and New South Wales in general, Walt might be a bit sharper come Saturday, and we'll definitely know what the weather gods have decided the Randwick track will be. Hopefully, it's not a swamp, but racingwatch.com.au is where you get Johnny's action. You can get the Telegram chat or the Telegram message service or the Discord chat. So if I haven't said it for a while, but if you hate your missus and love racing, jump in the Discord and you'll find all sorts of madmen in there. So shout out to the boys. They've done a pretty good job in
especially while I was away. Holy heck,
they haven't stopped betting.
They've found some, and they've found some
winners.
Crazy, some winners. I think they've been chugging along pretty well. So dogs, trots, they cover it all, and they sports. Jesus, they don't miss. Very sick
individuals. So if you're sick, get in there as well. All right, I'm gonna preview the Quokka. I'm going to step in, and a big shout out to Trav, who helped with last week's show. So a big thanks to the boys last week. But the Quokka, Millions Jules' favourite here at TopSport, $2.90. Bella Nipotina at $3.50. Uncommon James $7. Asfura $9. Overpass $11. Tricks of the Trade $19. 21 Kementari still going around. Red Can Man $21. Shades of Rose, we just saw it in the replay $26. Resort Man $41. Hot Z $51. I'm not going to bother about any of the rest. The replay I wanted to have a look at here is Uncommon James, a little bit unlucky in the Galaxy, and you've got Asfora on its back. I just think this horse likes to be out and rolling, so the key to Uncommon James is to be off and gone. So I just don't like the fact that it's been sort of held up, and it's only the last sort of 200 metres here. He gets sort of clicked up, and you might think that Asfora will, if given clear running, would have gone past him here, but I just think that he needs to be out and rolling, off and gone, and I think the wide gate isn't a disadvantage for him. So I think they'll know that, and he'll be pushed out and rolling on. Here's a replay of Amelia's Jewel in the Roma Cup. She's in the green here with the red sleeves. Once she gets clear running, just gets shaken up a little bit here, and she's got panels on this field. You can see a horse like Bustling down the outside in the green and blue, rattles off some fast late splits, but a horse like that's just never getting anywhere near Amelia's Jewel. I'm not too worried about the wide gate here, but definitely going to see a drift in the market. I can't see many people tuning into her at $2.90. Her price will hold or will drift, but I would have thought that Uncommon James looks about at $7 for me with its form, or with the Group 1 Galaxy and the other race at Sandown, the Oakley Plate, where it won. So this horse is just
Does
there.
Uncommon James get to choose the better of the two barriers that it drew, or just gets the choice?
Yeah, there's so many angles to that it defies belief that...
what did it draw, Uncommon James?
It's got 13.
Oh, shit.
Mm.
Oh, shit.
I like that. Out of trouble, and you've only got sort of one option, and I know... you're in that similar mode of thinking with horses that sort of need to be up and going. The other horse that looks like it's really well drawn is Overpass. It's off the Geld. It's got Josh Parr. I see it's been $21 into $11. So
JP's going to Perth.
to ride. Yeah.
What?
Yep.
Yeah, for Bjorn.
Did he trial it?
Yep. Went to Hawkesbury to trial it. So
Mate, I tell you what, he doesn't get on planes very often. It must be airborne.
Well,
yeah, I that's what I thought. Looking at his trial, big sort of won the trial easily, just under a stranglehold. You look at his first up run last prep. He's run second, splitting Nature Strip and Lost and Running. In behind him was Mizzou. Like, he's a gun fresh. This horse. He looks right in play. I would have thought, especially with the map. And then you get the push there with JP going to ride him. He's obviously been booked for a long way because he rode him in both trials. So. He looks a bit deadly. He feels pretty old Overpass, but he's only 4. Feels like he's been around forever.
He does. He was sort of beaten up for a little while there, wasn't he? When he was running in everything, but he's got good ability.
First up gelded. It looks a bit of go time for him.
Well, and he was 2/5 lame in Nature Strip against Nature Strip in the shorts, fresh last spring. So he just looks absolute D-Day. You have to make Overpass a winner, and I think it's a pretty good bet. Uncommon James, who's the horse on the rise. It's time to hear from Donnie. He's under the weather, but hopefully he's found a couple of winners for us this week.
Donnie's best for this weekend's racing. We go to the God's Carpet, Eagle Farm, the best track in Australia. Let's hope we can find some winners. The best bet comes up in race 1. It's horse number 8, Headwall. It's a good Sydney horse. It loves 1,000 metres fresh. Got a bum steer last start. Got held up, flashed late, but the race was over. Ran the best last 200 of the day. Sydney midweek metro meeting. That form should definitely hold up here. If it doesn't get too far back, it will go bang straight past him. It's only about 2:30, but happy to have something on race 1, number 8, Headwall. The next best, the value bet, race 8, number 9, Ekaterina, around $9. It really flew last start at Doom and came from last. Beat a nice horse from the O'Day yard. 1,400 Eagle Farm suits. The favourite, Wolverine, it's a bit of a non-winner. It's a class horse, been racing with much stronger company. It doesn't really finish off too strong. It's a bit scared of the winning post. So have an each-way bet on race 8, number 9, Ekaterina. Good to see the boys back from the Masters. Go well this weekend, lads.
Oh, sort of lost him there in the last final throws, but the horse he's talking about there is Ekaterina. So I'm not sure. I hope his missus isn't Russian because he can't pronounce Ekaterina, but it's a $7.50 chance against Wolverine, who, well, that's an interesting one. 1,600 heavy track, goes back to the Daybreak Lover over 1,400 Eagle Farm.
It's dead to me.
Huh?
It's dead to me.
Wolverine?
It's dead to me.
I think it's a 1,400 metre horse.
I think it's a 1,400 metre slug.
It looks really well set up, Ekaterina. Barrier 11's a slight concern, but 1,200 to 1,400, really good run last start, really good win last start. And there's not much in the race outside of those two chances. Speak up, John O'Shea.
Soft draw is very important to Wolverine. At least it gives it a chance to settle closer. It's obviously very dangerous. What price is that, Ekaterina? 11, so it's a
320 Wolverine, and then you've got Ekaterina 750, and then John O'Shea's horse Speak Up 460.
Did you say, like, I'm all for positivity. I'm a positive person, but Eagle Farm, the best track in Australia.
It's racing pretty well.
I thought it was going to be rushing him to the ER. He can't speak. He's saying it's the best track in Australia. Mate, he could be gone, Donnie. He could have like that golden staff or something.
I think he's flying.
He's flying.
Yeah.
Did you see Headwall? He didn't even mention like no balls. One big change. B Spriggs off. The wide gate for it does hurt, but that horse is absolutely airborne. It was just, I could actually even give Ryan Maloney a break. It could be the worst ride I've ever seen in my life last start, Headwall.
He's a 1,000 metre specialist, our Donnie. So race 1, number 8, Headwall. If he tips him in there short, he had a good one yesterday, Rich On, who just went straight to the front. So that'll be extremely hard to beat. Let's have a look at TopSport Steamers this week. First one, Randwick race 6, number 8 is Great House. 125 at 41 in the JRA plate.
How gone are we if that's a big bet? If that's it, 125 at 40s is making the segment. Like,
Spec.
Can we come on, great. Who's that? Was it Hawkins? Ask him, can we find out who had the bet? I'm not even going to grace that with an answer. The JRO plate's the worst race I've ever seen.
Race 7, number 1, Don Corleone, 1,500 at $4 there. That's better.
Well, it's better. It's slightly better.
Donation, I'm saying.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't
The
want to
horse
be
looks
on at
beaten.
the
He
price.
looks beaten up.
I'm surprised they'd gone on with him. I thought they would put him in a paddock.
Well, you got to go on with him because if he wins, he's worth 20 million or
Gazillion.
something crazy. So like, they've dead set got 5 runners in them, and 4 of them look like they've been char grilled. So it is what it is.
Great lay this one, despite going off at 650. Race 8, number 10, Bella Nipotina. Just think it's a B grade form versus a couple of these others who just look perfectly set up. Like the horse, but or like the mare, sorry, but
It's had a long, funny prep, hasn't it? It's just feels like an afterthought. It's a bit of a weird timing for this race to try and get the better sprinters over there in peak form. They've got too many options. They're starting to think about being put away now. They don't really want to get on a 5-hour plane and target it. It's just not an easy one to plan out. But yeah, I'd much rather be a horse that looks like it's been set for it, like the Mighty Overpass.
All right. That's all of the racing action from us. So you know where to find us in the Little Birdie shop or at Walt's website, Racing Watch. A little bit of a follow-up from the US Masters Golf Punters Club. We emailed everyone that jumped in bed with us there. The $50 units returned $9.83, which is a big strip out for us. Tiger got us sort of both ways. We laid him to make the cut. He fell in. Justin Thomas, he exploded late and didn't want to be out there on the qualifying, and then Tigers pulled out a couple of holes into the first round of the weekend. So got us twice when we should have been collecting on him, and we sort of spec Max Homer, who looks like a big chance at Harbour Town as well. So we'll open up another Punters Club for the next major. But big thanks to you boys down in Melbourne for steering the ship without us. Watched the show. It was an absolute belter. So big thanks from me. I've got a blood nose here. It just started to, you can just see it trickle down on the screen. It's really hot in here.
Last seen in the toilets at Eagle Farm.
Last seen in the toilet. God, when I was previewing the Quokka, I could just sort of feel it start to drip down, and it's so hot in the studio back here. And obviously, I've been off the plane, but yeah, I've been back for the last.
He's only had 2 weeks working for the Curries, and look at him, he's gone.
Yeah, it's a cracker. You can just see it like just out of the screen there. So hopefully I make it through the weekend, but I feel okay.
Never a dull moment.
Yeah, that's crazy. So anyway, just the humidity and being back in Queensland's got me. But any final thoughts from you boys down there?
No, hopefully the rain stays away for both venues. So I would have thought that'd be the best result for punters on Saturday. He had no rain.
Agree.
Outstanding. All right, I'm going to wrap the show up before my head completely explodes. And I thought I was going better than Walt, but turns out I'm not.
I think, I'll be right. I'm just warming into the prep.
You'll be fine. All right, make sure you follow us on betdoctor.tv on Twitter and get around us on all our channels and jump into our Discord chat as well. We'll see you next week.